really good. I mean, he kept his cool, and no matter how much he was being poked, he definitely kept his cool, and he kept at him and didn't let him pull his bullcrap of, you have to prove something and I don't have to prove anything.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really, really good.
Excellent. It really was. It was amazing. I'm amazed at how well he kept his cool too. That was great. And next up is Big Blue. How are you tonight?
Doing pretty good. I'm doing okay. I hope you guys are doing well.
Thank you.
Good job, Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent. As usual, Spurs managed to answer not one single damn question. But that's what you'll come to expect from Chemo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's just the way he does things. But it can be entertaining. I like it when you get a guy like that though that immediately says, show me the experiments you've done, and you name off 2 or 3. And he just says, "Oh, well, okay then," and moves on to some other topic. What in the hell? Okay. He's not going to be pinned down. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of trying to mash down on a watermelon seed. You know how slimy those things are.
Yeah.
And as soon as you push on it, off to the other side of the room, and if you go push on it again, it'll just squirt off in some other corner. That's exactly what Chemo's like.
That's great. I love it. And next up, we have Mipet. How are you tonight, Mipet?
I'm really well this morning, thank you. Getting up really early over here. But no, that was absolutely brilliant, Mike. I just loved it. It was...
Thank you.
Oh, I'm getting shivers. We'll have to find you someone new now to do that again. That's brilliant.
Exactly. And next up, we have Brandon Warrell. How are you tonight, Brandon? It's good to see you.
Hey, what's up? I'm doing good. Yeah, it's been a while. It's good. Yeah, Spurs is an interesting individual. Surely, he's got a knack for what he does. I've been watching his debates for a while.
He really does have a knack for it. He really does. And Big Blue's analogy was perfect. The squishy watermelon seed that just shoots everywhere.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
That's exactly what he does.
It was. And next up, we have DKG Custom. How are you tonight?
Oh, hello. Sorry about that. Somebody needed me. Spurskimo. What a gladiator of the arena that is. I mean, honestly, to God, I just do not understand. I have to tip my hat off to him. I really do. Tip my hat to Spurs, because there's not many people that can talk for 2 hours and just say utter shit. Absolutely amazing. I mean, Mike, you were fantastic. You did as best as you could possibly do. And Big Blue's analogy of a squirty watermelon seed. I had slightly less kind of analogies in mind, but we'll go with blues. We'll go with blues.
There we go. It was the best one of the evening. And next up, we have Seek Truth, Speak Truth. Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I just had to come and say myself, congratulations to Mike. That was just a brutal sort of destruction, and it was done in such a good way.
Thank you.
It was more like a sleeper hold from behind, if you know what I mean, rather than but yeah, it's a sleeper hold snake. So yeah, well done, dude. Yeah, and then it's just amazing. I just love kind of seeing it, and from a ex-flat earther's point of view, I think anybody kind of sitting on the fence and anyone that was kind of considering it, if they watched that debate, they would have gone Team Mike. And that's the way I look at these things, is like, props to you, man. Like, yeah, It was. I learned from it myself. So thank you.
Yes. No, thank you.
It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And last but not least, of course, is Dick Dawson, the one who's running the buttons and everything. So how are you tonight, Dick?
I'm doing great. I was so not really needed throughout the debate. I mean, I had to do a little blah, blah between the timed rounds in the beginning, but as they took over and did their more free-form chat, I was rarely needed, if any. So I had lots of time to get drunk. So I want to thank both of our debaters for that. And I mean, you know me, right? You know,
as if we could have stopped you.
Right.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I do feel there was a couple of times when I could have been a tiny bit more forceful with, you know, you do have to answer the actual question. But I was trying to balance that between us saying that, you know, opinions are respected, but facts are revered. That's kind of the motto for the debate, right? Yep. And as such, it's going to be a bit of a hard balance to find. I'll get a little bit better at it. I want to give a huge shout to Chemo because, you know, flat earth debates can get a little bit heated. He really did well. Instead of getting all pissy at Mike at one point, he asked me for the assistance. I can't give him enough respect in that regard. He was a great debater and a participant. Mike, I don't even know what to say, my friend. Well done. Holy God,
right,
you're a monster, buddy. And I can't wait to see them line up to take you on. Oh, yeah, baby. So, you know, and thanks to everybody who showed up and whatnot. That was a great night. We had a blast, and I can't wait to continue the conversation with some cool people.
I think like Mike made him run to the moderators, didn't he? He was like, moderator.
Well,
you know, it's like it's becoming too much.
Well, I do have to say that, yeah, he was right. I was trying to force the point, and I was not letting him talk. So, yeah, he was right on calling Dick on that one. I'll admit I was being Mike, too pushy.
But it was close because he wasn't answering what you were addressing. And so that's why I was letting you press. But at the same time, that was that line between opinions and facts. And we're trying to let, you know, if somebody wants to prove themselves wrong and say something, we're trying to allow it. We're not just going to shut them down due to fallacy. But it's for the viewers to decide what they like, right?
Although having said that, you did step in with Chemo when Mike was asking him the superb question about acceleration, whether something goes from when he goes
I know.
From 0 to 60 in or whatever, is there a force involved? Now, Chemo started going, well, there's an egg, and if you add salt to it. And then basically you said, oh, no, answer the question. Now, I was really wanting to know where Spurskimo was going to go with adding salt to water to an egg for acceleration.
That was loyal.
And I understand that, DK, but at that point, I was at the point where I was like, okay, wait a minute. We're talking about terminal velocity, and now we're putting salt and water. Even me at 5 drinks in, I can't reconcile this. I need something stronger.
Where the hell was that going to go?
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it was the first time of the night, though, that I was actually able to get him to make a claim. So once he made the density disequilibrium crap claim, I had him. He couldn't possibly support it, and he kept wanting to push it back that I was talking about gravity. I was like, no, I'm talking about the model you just presented is inconsistent with what we see in reality. And he's trying to say, well, you're trying to say, no, I'm not saying, I never said the word gravity. I'm not saying gravity. No, that's not how it goes. And DKG was right. You know, he weaseled out of everything, and he wanted to follow his scripted narrative so much, and I try to do my best to not let it go down that road. And it just reminded me, has anybody ever seen the movie The Best Little Whorehouse House in Texas, when the governor sings that song, the sidestep? Yeah, the sidestep. Oh yeah, I kept thinking of that song because he sidestepped everything. He was actually pretty good at it.
One of the first things he said tonight was, which I find quite profound, and again, it's like the psychology of somebody hearing that, is him saying, I don't need a model. And he just said that a few times. I don't need a model.
Yeah.
We don't need a model. And, you know, again, that ingrains in people's heads,
Right.
model. And they think, what model? Yeah. And they fail to understand, which I did, what a model actually represents, if you know what I mean. And then they just think, oh, it's a model, it's just made up. You know, I don't need that. And they believe it.
Exactly. Is you can't make a claim that something is without there being some evidence to show that it is, and that, by the way, is a model. That's how a model starts.
I just want to point out I did work on Event Horizon building the models for that, and it was all made up. We made that shit up.
Yeah.
What?
But that was an awesome movie, though. So
it was a great movie.
Yeah. Very fucking weird movie, but
I tell you one thing that I've learned about Chemo, and it would be nice to know a bit more about his private life. But I reckon Chemo must be a terrific dancer.
It's possible.
By the way, he
Hey,
dances
man.
around questions.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can't grip him in the slow dance though, because he'll just like squirt out like a watermelon seed.
Yeah, it's just squish.
Really pretty sure I want to know
It's
a
like
lot
it's
of
like Snake in the Jungle Book.
Oh, what's that horizon between your legs? Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah.
I won't go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing how I tried to provide practical demonstrations that you don't need a degree, you don't need math, you just need observation and a little critical thought. And I thought that would be a good way to go, because then it's like, you know, okay, so we don't have to calculate anything, but he just dismissed it all. Absolutely every single one of them just refused to even address them and just called them religion. I was like, okay.
there was one point he came up started in with when you were talking about horizon, and he was saying, well, is it the apparent horizon or the geometric horizon?
Yeah.
And then he started talking about, you know, his side of things, to say, well, you can look out the door and see the earth is flat. And I was so desperate for you to say, well, is that geometric flat or apparent flat?
Yeah, I thought about it, but you know, I had already conceded the fact that when you're looking at the horizon, that is the apparent horizon. You don't necessarily see the actual geometric point.
Yeah.
I can't understand why flat earthers can't. Why can't a flat earther see that to have an apparent horizon, like, you need to have a geometric one?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Otherwise, like, I've asked them, like, so do you think your flat Earth is just constantly changing in dimensions? Do you know what I mean? Like, and kind of morphing, and like, how on earth do we have these things without something solid to go from? Do you know what I mean? Like, are you? Yeah, that's just so weird.
Yeah, and he doesn't seem to. He probably does get it. I just didn't want to discuss it because it didn't go the way he wanted it. But I tried to like the horizon thing. You know, you can actually predict what the angles are by knowing the radius of the Earth, so that when you get to a certain altitude, the angle between level and where the horizon is, you can predict pretty close. I mean, you're not going to be exact, but you can predict pretty close to what that's going to be. And how do you do that? Well, there's got to be a curve. If it's flat, that won't happen.
Exactly.
But he ignored it completely.
He loves that Black Swan photo.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what Alberoni did.
Photo.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's exactly what Alberoni did. They really irritate me when they start with that geometric, apparent horizon nonsense. Which one do you see? Well,
it really doesn't matter. You're going to get.
You're
going to get.
I told
the
him this.
angle.
The horizon I see is the big blue horizon. The horizon you see, Mike, is the Mike Bertelson horizon.
Yeah,
we each see the horizon, you know. And don't tell me it's not real. If I'm on the shore and I'm stood with my toes in the water, is that water real? That's on my feet.
Well,
I'm pretty sure it is.
Thing is,
and if I look out and all I see is water as far as I can see, until I can't see any further. Is that real? Is that water still real?
I'm sorry, I kept interrupting you there. I was going to say, yeah, you're 7 foot tall and Mike's 6'10", so yeah, it's different.
Hey, Guys, do you mind if I just jump in quick? I just got a PM in the background, and Seek, if you want to have a debate with a Spurskimo, I can set that up on our channel coming up.
I would absolutely love that.
Okay.
Cool.
Yes, please.
Coming up. Awesome.
That'd be brilliant.
Yes.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Can we do it in the form of performance dance?
Make it performance art. Yes.
Interpretive dance.
Yeah, we'll obviously discuss it, but maybe like say we'll have 3 rounds, but one will be performance dance.
Yeah,
it has to be.
Yes.
And a game of Snap.
Well, you know, the one modification to the format, I think, is that he has to start out with evidence of a flat Earth, because he starts out every single solitary debate with, I'm going to show that what you believe is religion, and that's all there is to it. Next.
It's all reverse psychology.
Yeah.
It's literally reverse.
Yep.
Like, I honestly, like, I can't see how he doesn't see that, but he is literally indoctrinated, and everything he thinks we are going through, he is going through. And
Well, he knows exactly what he's doing, though, because this whole rhetoric is designed in such a way that it would be impossible to prove anything.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
I think a lot of it is like playing a game. You know, he's got a script. He follows his script. And what was very hard in this debate was you didn't allow him to follow the script. You kept veering him off of it. I know. You kept veering him off of it. And that really messed him up. But he kept the religious thing is part of his script. And he will just keep hammering it and hammering it and hammering it, even if it didn't apply. I mean, he asked for demonstrations. You gave him demonstrations, and then he proceeded to bring up religion again because that was all he had. It was part of his script.
Even when he brought up peer-reviewed papers, he still referred back to religion and how you know, somebody can say something about miracles. Now, how many footnotes are there in the Bible that take you to peer-reviewed papers to talk about how Jesus
checked? There was, let me see, 1, 2, 0.
You can't. The same as me.
Hey, I'll tell you this. Aimee got a good few votes. So what do you say about that?
Yeah, that was good.
Yes.
That was funny.
Well, you know, he kept talking about demonstrations, and when I brought up Cavendish, he was like, you know, incredulous about it, because that's all he's got is incredulity, and it's like, you know, you can do that yourself. You know, I brought up Blue because his Cavendish, I think, is about the best I've seen. I brought up BM Furball. I even brought up, you can go to Amazon and buy the goddamn rig yourself and test it. And all he would do is, well, if I were to tell you to go into the desert, and no, dude, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not testable, repeatable information. That's not data. That's not science. And he just wanted to equate that. Well, if you're telling me to do something, then that's religion. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I haven't heard that one.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's all you had.
It is.
Wow.
Because you know, it's, if you're going to build the apparatus yourself, that's, as Blue can attest, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of attention to detail. You have to really understand what you're doing, but you can buy the damn rigs. How much money did FE Corps spend in that stupid laser test? Tens of thousands of euros. I mean, the damn leveling device alone cost like what, 25,000 euros. So
I'm surprised you didn't make the claim that if you bought a device off Amazon, that it's already got the globe model built into it.
Confirming the consequence. Wasn't that what he said?
The info is a telescope for $20,000.
Yeah, they spent a crap ton of money on that. Yeah, imagine the apparatus you could have built, Blue, with 25,000 euros or $40,000.
Shit.
I don't actually get what their what they thought they were going to get, to be honest with you, because we know they're a bunch of grifters and liars. So what did they really expect to find when they got like a super sensitive gyro? And that did they really think it was going to read 0? I don't understand it, because they're a bunch of fucking liars.
I'm pretty sure they think the sky is moving.
That's right.
Did they think they could fiddle the results to get what they wanted? Or
well, it's not on their website now, but I downloaded it off of the Wayback Machine a year or two ago. They had originally embarked on this their own handmade gyroscope thing, because they said that none of the commercial gyroscopes they tested could be eliminated the effect of gravity, so they had to build their own. I was like, dude, that's literally how a fucking gyroscope works. What the hell do you think you're doing here? And so they were basically going to fudge something to fit what they wanted it to fit. It's like, you have all these gyros. They tested like a bunch of commercial gyros, and they got the same results every time. Why do you think that is, idiots?
And they were trying to find a device that eliminated gravity.
Yes.
So they accept gravity exists.
Actually, I think Bob does. Bob had a discussion, an argument actually with
he has
Jaron about it a couple of years ago, because the one thing they can't get rid of, and actually the one example that he brought up to Jaron, was a gravimeter. An absolute gravimeter has it measures a mass in free fall in a sealed vacuumed chamber. So it's at a vacuum compared to atmospheric, but it's not a perfect vacuum. But so it's unaffected by density, yet measures different gravity wherever you take it, because the gravitational field's not constant on the Earth. And he actually used that as an example. I thought that was pretty good. And I've always wondered that, why can you, if you're there, whatever magic makes the Earth flat, why does it have to preclude there being gravity? I never understood that concept. I mean, I know why they do it, but it's like, you guys don't have to. You can just ignore that whole argument completely by conceding that gravity happens.
And not to mention the fact that if you do start talking about gravity, they have to get into Einstein and Newtonian gravity and just get onto a cosmological level that's not required for discussions about whether the shape of the Earth is flat or round.
Well, that's the other thing. He thought he was going to trap me with. He thought he was going to trap me with gravity and being a force. It's like, no, it's not a force. No one says it's a force. As a matter of fact, you talk to any physicist, they'll tell you they don't know what it is. But that doesn't change the effect it has on our universe. It doesn't change the measurable, quantifiable force that we have. That's there. It exists. We measure it. We know what it is. We can deal with it. We can predict what's going to happen. And then he's like, it superseded. And then as I brought up general relativity, I went right to section 14, where he talks about how his field equations happens to just match Newtonian gravitation, and then he didn't know where to go with that. I bet he's never read it, for sure.
Of course he's never read it. No. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And then he goes, well, let's not dwell on this.
Yeah. Let's
not dwell on this.
Right.
That was his, let's move on, because I can't argue it. But it was a great point. You're getting the two things mixed up, that we know the effect of it, we just don't know what it is.
Right.
And that's a lot of what flat earthers, people who believe the Earth is flat, I think a lot of them are just ignorant. They have no science background, they have no math background, they don't understand it. And so because they don't understand it, they just make things up. Yeah. It's like they want to believe what they want to believe. They're just science deniers.
Well, yeah, they
basically, yeah.
Yes, exactly right. And they believe, they know about gravity the way most people know about gravity. You know, you go to high school and maybe you're in a little college and there's a force and things fall and we can measure that. And we know what it is. So people just automatically equate it to being a force. And unless you go beyond your typical science classes, you start getting into the real physics, you're not going to know that, well, gravity itself isn't a force and we really don't know what it is, but here it is. Here's what we do, you know? So I can understand, but if you're going to then now use that as an argument for the earth being flat, well, maybe you actually should understand how it's supposed to work because you're making a claim on it. Therefore, you got to know it, and they don't.
Need to have enough knowledge to be able to do the test.
Exactly.
Now, you brought up the Apollo mission photos.
Yeah.
I can't remember how he weaseled out of that one.
He ignored it completely.
That's what I thought. It was just never brought up again.
Right, exactly. Because he brought up about how NASA's stuff is photoshopped and stuff, and so I said, okay, we're going to go down that road, then we're going to go down that road. And so when I brought up, they do have photoshopped composites that they turn into full pictures of the globe. But then in Apollo, you know, this was a physical medium format film camera, an awesome camera. I wish I had one. And the negatives still exist. And I said, we got to go to court. We could produce the negatives to make this, you know, make the point. Well, how do you prove that those are fake? So he decided to move on from NASA and pictures from that point. He just ignored it completely.
I always find the NASA argument is such a childish denial in the first place.
It is. It's a red herring.
Yeah.
And one of the things I bring up on Facebook all the time is they're always whining about, you know, NASA this and NASA that. It's like, I don't need NASA to be able to make an argument. You know, none of the science that supports the heliocentric model, that supports gravity, that supports the universe, has anything to do with NASA. NASA just used all that science that already existed to put rockets into space.
They were standing on the shoulder of giants.
Exactly.
To show us back the Earth.
If I can just jump in real quick, please. Sure. I just wanted Joe Whip just joined the call. Hello, Joe Whip. How are you?
Cool.
Hello, Amy. How are you doing? I'm doing great.
Good. I'm doing great too. Thank you so much.
I'm not sure I can recover from that debate, but I'll try.
There you go. It was a lot of fun, though.
Yes, it was.
Glad to have you with us.
Well, I was wondering, listening to Spurs talking about religion, and I wanted to chime in and say he was talking about people can go out into the desert or the forest and experience God. Well, the difference is you can't use your iPhone and take a picture of God out in the forest.
Yeah.
But I can go up into in a military jet, which I did back in the 80s, 70,000 feet. If I had an iPhone then, I could have taken a picture of the curve.
Yes.
You know, you can't do that with God. So, I mean, his argument was just, oh my God, it's just.
Well, I do have some fantastic selfies with God, but he just won't let me publish them.
It's an NDA involved in that, and it'll be a whole big thing. Yeah,
it's a legal battle.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
Because God said no. That's why.
That's the problem. God always seems to say no. All the good stuff is no.
That's pretty much what the Bible says.
Yeah, kind of does.
Yeah. Stop wanking. That's a different chapter.
Don't touch yourself. Don't touch yourself.
Yeah.
If I can here, I wanted to ask Big Blue if he's handy to the microphone. During the chat, what specifically got to you? Because I know you're, pretty specific about things and very accurate about what you say and whatnot. Got any thoughts for us on, what transpired during that? He hasn't unmuted yet, so I'm not sure. He's usually listening, but he's probably away from the microphone thinking, fuck you, Dawson. Oh, it could be.
He's got the second bottle of vodka now, and he's
playing with his ball.
gone.
Come on.
It's probably taking his balls apart.
Yeah, I'll try him after.
Yeah, I brought him up a little earlier, and he didn't seem to respond. So I'm not sure. I think he's away from the keyboard.
So, Mike, you had to keep some notes. You had to, keep on top of things and whatnot. While you're scribbling away and doing your thing, what was the moment that made you go, what?
When he said hello?
Yeah. pretty much with his first 3 minutes where he was not going to present anything, and he was just going to show that everything I have to say is religion. That was like, are you fucking kidding me? Are we even going to have a debate here, or is it the chemo show where you blow up some smoke and mirrors and say you have nothing but religion, which is pretty much all he did.
I didn't hear the whole debate because I was involved in something else too. But did he answer any questions you asked him?
Not
directly?
One. Nope, not one.
Even
when we got to
Joe.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Joe, is there any chance you could be closer to your mic? You're a bit quiet.
Oh, okay. Is that better?
Yeah, that helps. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's pretty close.
Even when it came to the point of, he's got an apple falling due to density equilibrium, and I was trying to get him to asking him about, does it go from 0 to something with no acceleration? He wouldn't even answer that. He finally sort of did, but he did not answer a single direct question, because he even said several times, I try not to make claims, because he knows he's stuck. If he makes a claim, he has to actually support it. And then he did the density equilibrium thing, and I knew I had him.
Well, he did make a claim that that people for thousands of years believed the Earth was flat, and only recently we decided that the Earth was a globe. Now that was a claim, and that's also bollocks.
It is, and I thought about that one carefully, whether I should go down that road, and in my opinion, that would have been a long drawn out philosophical discussion about history, and I wanted to try to keep him in the realm of science. So I decided at that point not to go after him on the history of flat Earth versus globe Earth.
Well, yeah, because he would literally be talking about the stuff that he was saying you're not allowed to talk about.
Right, and I would be following his
talk about it.
Yeah, and I would be following his script. And
that's the thing, with Spurs. Whenever you talk with Spurs, he is, like you say, trying to lead you down a path, isn't he? And just to kind of get you in his corner. And so I think that was one of your best things you did tonight, Mike, was kind of staying away from that in a way and just being like, no, like, whoa, we're trying to talk about this right now, and you're not going to take us there, Yeah,
that was my biggest goal, was to not to let him decide what the narrative was going to be, because the previous debates I saw of his, that's exactly where he went. And the last one with Mr. Sensible, he twisted Mr. Sensible up. Mr. Sensible had him. Mr. Sensible obviously had him and showed that he was completely wrong, but he kept saying, well, I'm destroying him. Or you didn't destroy shit.
Well, you would take good depositions, Mike. As a retired trial lawyer, that's what we I used to do that for a living, and we used to just let people let them wind up and make themselves just catch them in lies, and just let just keep digging deeper and deeper, and then nail them.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to do, and when I finally got him to start making a claim about density,
I ran with that because that's the first time through the whole thing that he actually made a direct scientific claim that I could argue with. He was annoying. It was like, I started to go off a little bit on the, are you seriously trying to equate miracles to peer-reviewed science? I almost lost it on that one.
Well, I only had one encounter with him on I think it was on one of the Shills shows, and he was on and I was in the chat, and he's talking about Antarctica, how you can't go there and all that. And yeah. I was there, and I'm writing in the chat like, "Hello,
yeah,
go. I've been there. I'm going back again next year," and they called me a liar. So
yeah,
what are you going to do? They asked for personal experience. And
right.
then people who have it, they just say you're lying.
Right. Well, that's what he did. He asked for demonstrations. I gave him demonstrations, showed him how he can replicate the demonstrations, because that's really what it's about, right? Repeatable evidence, repeatable science. But he just dismissed it all as religious rhetoric and dogma. So, it wasn't good enough. It's like, well, I did Cavendish. Well, apparently that's not good enough because, I'll just have to take your word for it. Well, no, you don't have to take my word for it. And I gave him examples that he could go off and do it himself. But that wasn't good enough. So, because now it didn't go his way. So he's moved on.
Yeah, you actually gave him the evidence he wanted. He wanted you to tell him some practical thing that you did. And you told him a practical thing that you actually did, and he just ignored it.
Well, let's not get be under any delusion. Chemo is not out for truth.
Yeah,
he doesn't care about truth. He just cares about being the obstinate little shit that he is.
Yeah.
Sorry, was I unkind?
No.
You're just honest.
The obstinate. No, we're not going to say that word. Yeah, that would be worse.
Well, present company excluded ST, but my experience has been that the people who claim they're seeking truth, none of them are seeking the truth.
Yeah.
So I just dismiss them.
Yeah, that Antarctica thing keeps coming up too. I'm so surprised it's still such a big thing. And on Facebook, they keep saying how the military doesn't allow you to go there. The Antarctic Treaty, Just said, did you actually read the fucking thing? Because the very first article, very first paragraph says no military. And not to mention the dozens of cruises, the helicopter and plane flyovers, the excursions inland, even all the way to the damn South Pole. It's one of the biggest ecotourism locations on the planet right now.
Well, there's a race that goes around the whole thing.
Yeah, the Antarctic Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and I know people are going to be sailing around it in December.
Yeah, there's a couple of cruises that circumnavigate
absolutely.
it. Yep.
Yeah, we had to rescue a yacht that got stuck in sea ice.
Ooh.
They were trying to sail around Antarctica, and they got a little too. I guess they wanted to see the penguins. And when they got back in the boat, it was completely engulfed with sea ice. Even in December or January down there, the sea ice forms in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
And they had to wait till someone could get there, and we plowed through it and opened up a channel for them, and out they went.
Wow.
There was a huge chunk kind of broke off it recently, wasn't there, off Antarctica? A massive iceberg.
It's about the size of Rhode Island, as I
remember.
Yeah.
Off the Ross ice shelf.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, where did it come from the ice shelf?
Yeah.
Oh God,
not the ice wall.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, there's no ice wall.
No, there's not.
There's a lot of ice, but there's no ice wall.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good job it didn't come off the ice wall, because all that water will be pissing out the side of it.
Yeah.
That's
true. It's amazing how big those icebergs can be. I mean, you sail by them and they're just like, they go on forever. It's like, oh my God.
But do they have curvature?
No, actually.
Don't say they go on forever.
The big ones are flat.
The
big pieces that drop off the ice shelf, they tend to be like mesas.
Yes.
And they're really, really big. But you can sail around them carefully.
Carefully, yeah. Kind of amazing. That's one of the things I never did when I was in the Navy. My boat never went under ice. I know a couple guys who did, but I wasn't one of them. That would have been kind of cool because they come up. The subs can come up through the ice. Certain ones, not all of them can. It depends on the sail structure, but it's kind of cool.
They usually see that in the Arctic.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly where it is. It's all in the Arctic. They don't do that down in the Antarctic. No.
No, you can't go under Antarctica.
No, it's kind of that whole.
Maybe the aliens can. I don't think that.
That's right. Yeah, that's where the. That's
where
the.
Old people. There's old people.
Yeah, the lizard overlords.
Yes.
It's where the dome and ice wall maintenance facility is.
Well, it's amazing what people believe. Oh my God.
And blindly. I mean, that was the other thing is he kept talking about how everything I'm saying is religion, but when what he's describing about his belief in a flat earth is literally the very definition. It looks flat, therefore it is, without me ever verifying it. So it's like, I almost went down that route too, but there was too many other things to address, so I never got to it.
Well, if I had stupid money, which I don't, but if I had stupid money, I would be tempted to buy a couple of these guys a ticket on Richard Branson's stuff next year and send them up and go up with them and film the whole thing and see what they say. I'm sure they'll buy what they're seeing out of the window.
Well, that's the other thing is people like F.E. Core spending thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars on all these supposed experiments and constructing gyros. Hell, you got kids in middle school buying weather balloon kits on the internet and sending them up with cameras and sensors. And, for the amount of money they spent on that, they could have got a system that would have gone really high up. They could have decided what cameras they were using, what lenses, so they don't have to worry about, barrel distortion. And yet they don't do that. That's the simplest, most definitive method. And every time I bring it up to a flat earther, they're like, they just sidestep and ignore the question.
I wonder why.
Yeah, right.
Well, they buy that ring laser gyro. It tells them the Earth is rotating.
Yeah.
And they refuse to believe it.
Right. And so they do what they do. They build their own mechanical gyro because and
it shows the Earth is rotating.
Yeah, it did. It moved. And it's like he spent all this time on that. What is it? Beyond the Curve, the documentary, saying, it's the most accurate gyro in the world. We had to get our hands on it because it would prove definitively. Oh shit! So it's like, what do you do?
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. That's right.
Oh shit! Proof is wrong.
Yep. Yep. Thanks, Bob. That's good.
Not mine, but yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna have to sort of bail out. It's 2:18 a.m. for me. Not that that's anyone's fault, but mine. It's me sitting here. I'm just kind of kind of saying that like but yeah, Mike, mate, that was an absolute destruction, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah, yes, mate. So. Yeah, I kind of want to hear you debate again and just carry on with it,
I may. It depends on who we come up with.
Yeah.
Do you think you could handle Nathan Thompson? Award of the point. Do you think Dick could handle Nathan Thompson?
Yeah,
as a moderator.
That has nowhere to go but be a dumpster fire, I think.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. We'd all have to accept it, wouldn't we? It would be a dumpster fire.
It would.
Yeah.
Moderator.
Nathan?
I had the unfortunate pleasure of spending 5 minutes in a Discord server with Nathan Thompson, with Dr. Bob, and I was sent in there to confirm that it was actually Nathan Thompson because he wanted to join in a live thing we were doing. And if 5 minutes of him, I mean, he called me, every name in the book.
Yeah.
The usual thing. And I'm just like, Nathan is, Nathan, trying to be nice to him. And then, he goes into, I want to have gay sex with him. I'm a child molester, blah, blah, blah. And then he disappeared.
Yeah. He's such a dick.
I mean, I can't deal with people like him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. He wouldn't want to. Yeah. The one guy I would, and the guy who got me into making videos is Anthony Riley, because he made some claims about submarines and density, and it's the reason. And it kind of annoyed me because that's what I do for a living. I design and build submarines. So
he knows about eggs and salt water, so he knows so much more than you.
That's right, with his little butcher's coat on there. Yeah,
sure, an egg floating in water in a submarine. Sure.
Yeah, there's the same thing. So I would love to take him on. I don't know if he's ever debated or if he does debate.
Do you remember those like toys you used to get? Well, it was like a big like upturned bottle of water, and you had like a little submarine thingy in it, and you squeeze the bottle, and then the submarine dives down, and you have to pick things up.
Yeah,
that would blow their fucking minds.
Yeah, it would. So.
Density and buoyancy. Riley has debated on FCFE a couple of times.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, he has had a few.
I don't think I've seen him do it since, though.
No. He knew it was best not to. But guys, I'm gonna fly. Thank you so much for allowing me on, the Shills, everyone involved. Love you all so much. Everyone in the chat. Peace out, guys.
Peace out.
Thank you so much.
Good night. Thanks for coming.
Night.
Later, buddy.
Let's see you soon.
The question is, can we get Oakley?
Oh,
I know where he lives, so that's what you mean.
I can immediately answer that. No, he will not come out from behind his mute button. Never going to happen.
He doesn't have the balls. He doesn't have the balls.
We've shown 3 times in a row now that ours is a fair platform and everybody gets their say. If he won't come here, he won't go anywhere. That's all I can say.
Well, he doesn't want fair. That's not what he's all about.
Exactly.
I think he'd have a better chance getting Eric Dubé to come on here than they.
Yeah. Well, I could tell Eric that Neil deGrasse Tyson sent me.
It's amazing how they just God bless Neil deGrasse Tyson, but I mean, really?
Yeah.
I mean, he's like the number one scientist in the world. I mean, he's basically a TV person.
Yeah.
He's like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah. Well, that's the other one they hate. They hate Bill Nye, and they hate Neil deGrasse Tyson.
She is the same intelligence as him. I don't think so.
Cox. They hate Cox as well.
Yeah,
and I've seen a few of them go at
Thompson, who loves Cox.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen them go at Michelle Fowler a few times as well.
Yeah. I've seen it.
Brian Cox was he's got that exquisite British accent.
Joe, sorry, dude, you're really quiet again. Any chance we can get you louder?
Yeah. Well, I got my mouth right up against the mic. So
holy.
They hate Brian. Well, I'm on an iPad. So they have, they hate Brian Cox because he has that exquisite.
I don't think the mic is where you think it is. To be honest.
Cell phone.
Well,
trust me.
They hate
cell phone.
They hate the whole feather and hammer thing in the NASA's vacuum chamber. So that's one of the big reasons, I think. Because plus he's prominent, especially in the UK, more than here. He's on TV all the time, and he does all this science stuff, and it's pretty interesting. And when I first started to get into flat Earth, because I read a lot of science stuff online, and about 2014, 2015, I started to see a lot of flat Earth stuff pop up, and I ignored it because it's like, well, this can't be real. And finally, I started to look at it. And when I went to several flat Earth forums, like the Flat Earth Society and stuff like that, they posted about Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye the Science Guy all the fucking time. It's like, you do realize that there are some bigger brains and names in physics and engineering than those two. But I guess they're TV personalities.
I like what Don Giovanni asked in the chat. What do you think of Brian May? Let's go to Dick Dawson.
Brian May,
guitar player.
Yeah, he's awesome. You may be cool, but you're not a PhD astrophysicist with 3 physics books and lead guitarist for Queen. Cool.
And built his own guitar.
That's right. That's awesome. And what I think is funny is he actually didn't finish his PhD thesis till 2004 or something like that. He started it in the 1970s, and the way this kind of stuff works today is a lot of the software that you use to do your analysis with is usually custom, usually program, whatever it is you need to program, and it's up on GitHub. But his was started in the 70s, so it's in Fortran, and it's on hard copy in the back of the thesis. So yeah. Well, that's the only thing I know how to program in. That's what I learned to program in Fortran. So it's like they had to do a little backpedaling research and break out the old guys to try to make sure that the coding was correct.
Can you remember what his PhD was in?
It's astrophysics.
Yeah,
no, it was it was the effect of dust on light and gravity waves. Is actually pretty neat, and some people wound up using his paper in some of their designs for measuring lights, and especially in the latest versions of looking for exoplanets. It's kind of cool that it actually had some specific direct application.
Yeah, some real life application. Fantastic. And not only that, they were probably listening to the Queen's greatest hits while they were doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a little Bohemian Rhapsody going in the background. Move this. Okay. So I think I was a little nervous going in, but settled right out.
Didn't show. It didn't show.
I'm actually looking forward to trying it again, I think.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I can't wait for more. Oh,
definitely.
God.
Yeah.
Definitely need to do some more. That was great.
Yeah, Mike, you are definitely the chosen gladiator of the Shills show.
For now, anyway.
Yeah, no, I think you did great. And I think you could do great with anybody. It's obviously, depending on the shit they come out with, but you're pretty much forewarned on what kind of shit they're going to bring up.
Right.
He does this on Facebook. He's seen about anything.
I've seen him on Facebook,
and they come out with a lot of crap.
It's getting very repetitive. You got the same guy posting the same shit, and
it must be hard fighting the memes, though.
It is, and I've taken to ignoring most of those guys because, although one guy did say complain because he just lost 20 terabytes of flat Earth research. I was like, wow, that's a lot of memes.
That's a lot of porn. 20 terabytes. 20 terabytes. I don't believe that in one second.
Of flat Earth research.
Because he downloaded the internet.
Bullshit. Yeah, he downloaded the internet.
Yeah, 20 terabytes of flat Earth research. I was like, that's just not fucking possible. If you had 20 terabytes of flat Earth research, you would come to the conclusion the Earth is a globe. There's no other answer for that one.
Well, you could do it with 20 bytes, no one 20 terabytes.
That's true.
But there you go.
Sorry, guys. I got a wicked comment I got to call out here. Martin H in the chat says, I I think we all know the script by now. Most of us could do a better fucking job of defending flat Earth than they can. I love it.
That's probably
no,
true.
you can't knock the Spurskimo because he knows where he's got it just right. He's got a pretty mouth.
DK, just like I said to Spurs, I'm not talking about the content or anything, but you were fantastic tonight on the show. You're welcome back anytime because, for me, I was only there to moderate. I wasn't there to judge the content, and he was, absolutely fantastic on the show.
Oh, he's charming. He's lovely, but but at the same time, he's lovely and charming. But if your daughter brought him home, you just want to kick him out the house and slap him with a wet halibut.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, Michael wouldn't be so patient.
Yeah, that's a whole different scenario right there.
Yes, as soon as flat Earth came out of his mouth, I would have something to say about that.
Exactly.
You're done. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly.
One more.
You have to call for an
Well, one more P Barnes in the chats. It's 20 terabytes of crayons drawing scanned to PDF.
That's a lot of PDF.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah. Well, like DKG said, is they just spam threads now with memes. It's ridiculous, and none of them has any idea what any of them mean either. So and I love the ones that say some stupid freaking thing about the globe. Of course, none of them are flat Earth proofs, by the way. Go figure. And at the very top, they'll say, your lack of understanding of science is not an argument against it. And it's like, oh, the irony.
Yeah, because some of their memes are just so esoteric.
Yeah.
They don't even make any sense no matter what argument you're trying to make.
Right.
They're just so
I honestly believe that they're made by globe earthers trolling flat earthers, and flat earthers are just fucking running with them.
Yeah, you said that before, and I believe that totally.
I just can't get some of those memes just don't make any other sense than that. It's just weird as shit, some of the stuff they come up with.
No, I agree with you totally there.
Lynn, you're about to say something?
Yeah, well, how about the one today? The guy posted a meme and said globetards. And then after people started to respond, he's like, why would you think that was real?
Yeah.
Like, and I said, well, I'm sure there's a flat earther that already took that meme and went with it.
Yeah.
And posted it somewhere else.
Yeah, it was just some stupid stuff like, how do you prove that gravity doesn't exist? And it was jump. And he started off with globetards. So you see that on Facebook, and the next thing you know that, the guy's trying to make a flat earth argument. And this guy was like, how did you guys not know that I was like, because you weren't any different than anybody else on the planet. What the hell are you doing? If you're going to make some sarcastic comment, maybe a little emoji or something might help out rather than just a single word globetard and run away with that. It's like, come on, what are we supposed to think?
Yeah, that's so disingenuous when they start using words like that. He says, oh, come on.
Yeah.
You fucking fluffer.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing about Chemo is he didn't resort to any of that. No,
he doesn't. He's respectful in that sense of the word.
Yeah,
He's not intellectually honest though. That's
that's another story though.
Definitely.
Which flat earther is intellectually honest?
Good
Be intellectually honest and believe the earth is flat. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm thinking hard. And nope.
Yeah, well, we've got a surprise coming in any minute here. Professor Phil Bell is about to join the chat, so
cool.
I am eagerly awaiting that. My faults are not letting him in already. I was away from the computer for a minute, and he was trying, so I'm stupid. My fault. What we'll do for the after show with people coming in and out coming up is we'll get Aimee on the Shills account as well, so two of us can admit people at all times.
Okie doke.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That'd be a good idea.
We need a grown up in charge.
Shut the fuck. Yeah, you're not wrong, actually.
Yeah, there's that.
Oh man, I had such a great time running that show tonight. You know, moderation was slim, and production wise, I mean, I've got that thing so automated, I didn't have to do fuck all, and I literally got hammered. So thanks, guys. That was great.
There you go.
Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, Phil says he's still waiting, but I'm not even getting a pop. Something's wrong. I'm gonna send him a new link. Something's wrong.
Uh-oh, he's turned a flat earther and can't tech.
Yeah, fuck, man. Okay, Prof, try now. I'm sending you a new link here. Try that one, all right?
Yeah.
Well, if I found my way in here, anybody can.
It's just a link. Click it.
Brandon Warrell.
Yeah, okay.
Hello?
So this should work.
Someone said my name.
Yeah, it showed up.
I saw you.
Yeah, something popped up on my screen.
Oh.
I was sharing a link, yeah.
Just Google Drive. I have movies on there, and that's one of them. It's not a virus.
Well, thank God I'm
Fucking,
not on Facebook. I miss all these memes.
I tonight actually using there we go. Okay, there we go. I see it. We're good.
Dun, dun,
Aimee.
dun, dun.
Should
Now
we
the rest of the
welcome
panel is suddenly 90% dumber.
And sure.
Yeah.
And we have a new one. We have Professor Phil Bell. How are you tonight?
Oh, no, he's gone.
No, he's here.
Well, he's so late into the meets, he probably doesn't see Meats has got him muted. It's
Yeah.
you know, that's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
It does.
There you go. How's that?
There.
There we go.
Well, welcome. How are you tonight?
Very well, thank you.
Good.
Yes, I did try to get in with. I'm on this iPad and the microphone's not very good, so I'll try my best.
Join the club.
There you go. Yeah, so that was a rather good show, but sort of expected from Chemo.
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't believe that he's a flat earther. I think he's just having a bit of fun. Just likes the attention.
That could be.
Take it to Poe. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah. But in any case, we still can address the things that he brought up, which wasn't.
He was a polite troll, though, or Poe. Polite
yeah.
Poe? A PP,
Yeah,
we like to call them PPs from now.
Oh, actually tried 3 things because he's also got a posh voice.
Okay.
Hey, I've got a posh voice. You can't.
Oh, jeez.
We have some compression on the live feed, so it might be a little bit quiet to us now and then, certain people talking, but to the feed it should be more balanced. So we just have to turn up our earphones a bit here.
Yeah. Okay.
I know
Yes,
that the Professor Phil Bell's avatar, he's got a very red face. Is that because the blood has rushed to his head because he's upside down?
Oh no, that was when I was in the Devil Church. You know, they took the picture then. Yeah. So yeah, no, that's my Satan persona. If you look very carefully, you might even see some horns there.
I'm looking.
Nice.
Just pulling your leg.
Oh, no, that's not the way.
But I have been called Satan quite a number of times, so, as you can imagine.
Yeah. That's kind of a go-to sometimes when they're not really winning an argument. That we'll go with God and Satan and anybody who doesn't believe the earth is flat is evil. So yeah, been down that road.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that's like most of the people in the world.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I take it to point now because a lot of the flat earthers on Facebook are their go-to arguments now are Bible passages, and it's like that's not a valid flat earth argument, and that kind of pissed a couple people off, because they're like, but God, well, when God runs
God's
the Cavendish,
not doing a very good job, is he?
God's not really
doing a very good job. He's he's got most of the world as Satanists, so it's just not working for him.
Yeah, well, when he gives us the results of his Cavendish test, then I'll start believing what's going on.
Well, he can't be much of a god, because if the best God can come up with is a pizza with a dome over it, that's not saying much.
Actually, my argument to flat earthers is that flat Earth is actually an abomination against God, because no God could be that stupid.
Well, part one of the arguments I use too is that can you have free will if you're nothing but a pet in a terrarium? Because they talk about the Bible, and the Bible says you get free will. Well, can you really have free will if you're a captive?
Well, just perhaps in your local environment, you might be able to. You might be a nasty creature.
Small scale, maybe, but large scale, no.
No.
Look, come on, God
is not plucked out.
God is brilliant, because not only does he create the flat Earth, and he creates the dome where the heavens are fixed to the dome, and the dome covers the flat Earth. And just think about this for a second, because that dome has to be rotating. Could you imagine the engineering structure around the edge of the Earth that has this dome sitting on these amazingly big, fucking huge bearings, and it's all greased up, that allows the dome to spin perfectly at one revolution per day? That is an amazing feat of engineering. God is brilliant.
Well, I think even more so as a feat of engineering would be imagine how high the dome. Well, you'd expect the dome to be about as wide as the flatties think the Earth is. So let's assume that's across there. That's 12,000 kilometers. Then assuming then you must assume the dome would probably be that high, or it would have to be a flat dome. And now we've got some serious engineering problems about how to hold such a structure up.
Yeah, a cylindrical dome. There you go.
Yes, so there's all sorts of silly things. I don't even know why we even bother to talk about it, but here we go. It's a bit of fun.
Well,
it's like...
Well, we wouldn't talk about it if they didn't bring it to the table.
No.
If they just go, oh, the Earth's globe, yeah, fine, okay, we'll go with that. No, they come up with all this shit, so we end up having to talk about it.
That's true.
So I was with my wife in a car some time ago, and we stopped by a farm, and she goes, "Why don't you just get out and go and see if you can talk to those cows? Because that's pretty much what you do every day when you talk to flat earthers."
Well, I don't think she's not wrong.
Yeah, you get more licking licking the nipples of cows than you do licking the nipples of flat earthers. That's all I'll say.
The cows are probably smarter than your average flat earther.
How would you know that?
I was told by the courts that the nipple licking had to stop, so I'm going to stay out of this one.
At least I stopped at nipples.
Yeah. Well, I did
actually,
have.
On a more serious note, one of the arguments that chemo has, and certainly I hear a lot, and that is that they think that density and buoyancy or disequilibrium, I've heard, takes the place of gravity. And I've yet to see a flat earther. If I throw something in the air at 20 meters per second, I can predict with this stunning accuracy how far it'll go, how long it'll be in the air for, and how high it'll go. I'd like to know how this density does that. I'd like to see the formula that they would use to make those 3 predictions that I can do every single time.
Yeah, and it was good that I got him to go down that route because and he wanted to just straw man the shit out of it though with gravity. And I was like, I'm not talking about gravity. I'm talking about your goddamn claim here, because he tried to say that that he did his little description of what happens to an apple, and therefore that falsifies any downward force. It's like, okay, then how do you go from 0 to 60 without an acceleration? And he realized at that point that he was pretty much stuck. Because that's why, and he even said, right after that, he said, this is why I don't like to make claims. Yeah, because you can't fucking support them. That's why.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I tell you the one thing I loved about that discussion, when you were talking about throwing a rock off a cliff or something, whatever, and he used to say, is it going to fall? Is it going to go down? And he goes, well, it depends on the medium. What fucking atmospheric medium do you know that you can throw a rock and it's going to go up?
Yeah.
Is that the atmospheric medium of Mercury?
You'd have to go to Scotland to find something like that.
Well, you could float an anvil in Mercury, so yeah, that would probably work.
Yeah. That's you find a lot of that in the atmosphere.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, that's why I tried to what the fuck are you talking about? And when that rock hits the water, what's going to happen to it? Come on.
Oh, you had to think about that.
Yeah, he did. Oh, yeah, he had to think about that because he was trying to think about how not to go down a road he didn't want to go. That's all he was thinking about. He wasn't thinking about what the answer was. He was thinking about how do I get out of this discussion without looking like an idiot. Oh, too late.
Yeah, but you came up with the smart thing when you said, "Oh well, pumice will float," but that's a different discussion.
Yeah,
it's like you were the one person to throw in something that would be negating to what you said. You were the one to say it, not him. He had fuck all.
Well, that's I wanted to do that just to head off that discussion there. It's like the first time I ever debated someone face to face. Well, actually, not face to face. It was a Discord voice chat, but it was with Right the Hand, and that was just a dumpster fire from the get go. And I actually lost my cool in that one because he's a fucking idiot. And he did the same thing. He's like, what happened? But he did what I did what Chemo did to me. And when he said that, he's like, what happens if I throw wood into the water, a piece of wood? I said, well, that would depend. He's like, wait, what? Won't it float? I said, well, that depends. So what doesn't float? Well, Brazilian mahogany for one, and ironwood. And he's like, what about balsa wood? Does that float? Yeah. And he goes, you trying to say the density of balsa wood is different than mahogany?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, let me hit you in the fucking head with a balsa wood 2x4 and then a mahogany 2x4, and you tell me.
Okay. What about witches?
Yeah, witches. Do witches float? Then they must weigh the same as a duck.
Oh, how did you learn these marvels of science?
You have to know these things when you're king.
That's what we should do. We should just ask a king.
That's right. Yeah.
Just be done with it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
right. The Hand would be interesting to debate on the channel, but he is always a dumpster fire.
Can we do that as in the form of a wrestling match?
I'm a little too old for that these days.
Wasn't that the one that wrestled the girl?
Yeah, and got his ass kicked. Yeah, he did. Yeah, an MMA fighter, because he said that there was no way a female MMA fighter could beat a man. And, yeah, that did not go exactly how he expected that one to go. By the way, you could look that up on YouTube. The videos there.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's funny.
Hilarious.
He probably thinks he can beat a WNBA player in 101 too.
Yeah. He just recently did a sob sit video for the first time too, and it was an absolute dumpster fire when he went in there to talk to them. It was like the same kind of bullshit. I'm surprised somebody didn't fucking bitch slap him, because he was an idiot. It just would not stop twisting shit around left and right. It was like, geez, dude, back off. Yeah, he started out the video that the Gainesville Fire Department came onto my property, used my materials to put out a fire on my property without my permission.
No, it was his utilities.
Yeah,
I wanted to know what utilities the fire department used on his property, because they usually bring their own water or use it from the hydrant.
And it was to put out a fire on his property. That's what he said.
Good God.
Yeah, it's like,
well, maybe the fire department should have bought a big truckload of gasoline.
Yeah,
because I heard that's really good for putting out fires.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell so what are they supposed to do? You're supposed to wait for you to give them permission to put your burning fucking house out?
Apparently.
What he really didn't want to find is marijuana still illegal in Florida, and he didn't want them to find his marijuana plants. That's probably what it was.
Was that where the house was burning?
Yes, it could be. Could be.
Well, if that was me, if I was in the fire department and I came up there and he says, "You need my permission," I'd say, "Okay, all right, well, have fun," and I just leave.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, I get.
Do it yourself, pal.
The problem with that is, though, you got the neighbors to think about. You can't let it burn down the neighborhood because he's a dick. Yeah, so I understand why they did, and they should do what they did. If they needed to put his house out so it didn't set his neighbor's house ablaze, then that's what they need to do.
Was there property nearby, or was he out in the middle of nowhere in Florida?
No, he's in a neighborhood with neighbors on either side of him, relatively close, slightly wooded. Lots of trees in the area. Yeah, I know. I've seen his house on Google Earth. So, I'm not going to say where it is or what it is, but yeah, he's in a typical Florida neighborhood. So.
Were you using the globe version of Google Earth or the flat version?
Well, I have yet to be able to log on to the flat version. I'm having trouble with that.
Yeah, because obviously Google Earth must be, because they must be balancing up. We don't know if the Earth's flat or round. So we got to work on both models here. So there must be a version that the thousands of employees that work on Google Earth must be working on the flat one. So there must be a link somewhere.
Keep amazing looking. How many flat earthers they go right to Google Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You get these guys who are trying to talk about how you can see too far. So they show these Google Earth pictures with the distances on them. See, this thing is this far away. And so it's like, yeah, did you zoom farther out? Because I think what you'll see is a globe if you do that. One of the things I was going to bring up to Spurs is so if it's the equinox and where the sun is basically at the northern tropic, what is it? Cancer? I forget which one is the north one. Cancer or Capricorn. And so you get sunrise at a given location, and then an hour later, 15 degrees of rotation. Sun rises again at the next location, and there's like a distance there between those two. It's like 900 and something miles. I have a spreadsheet somewhere. So now we're at the southern tropic. The sun rises, at the southern equinox, the autumnal equinox, we call it. And then an hour later, or 15 degrees of longitude, which turns out to be the same distance between those 2 points as the northern tropic. How the hell does that happen on a flat Earth? Because I really wanted to go down the map route, because as far as I'm concerned, the flat Earth map is the definitive proof that the Earth cannot possibly be flat. So, but we didn't go down that route. I had too many other fish to fry in order to be able to go down that route. But because it should be the simplest, most definitive flat Earth proof there is, because it's the straight line distance between any 2 points. And yet, even if we only go back to Robotham, that's like 160 years, and they still haven't figured it out.
Yeah, how can you have the 24-hour sun in Norway in June and still see the sun at the tip of South America on a flat Earth? How's that work? And vice versa, when you have the 24-hour sun, which I experienced in Antarctica for 2 weeks, sun never went down. And how do you have the sun up in the northern hemispheres? It doesn't work.
No. Is there something called the Arc of the Parallel or something like that? Is that a place, or is it a measurement?
What?
Arc of the Parallel, I think. Factor Flat Earth says that a lot. I don't know what he's talking about when he said it, so...
I'm not sure myself.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No problem at all.
You got to remember that Spurskimo says, you go out and the Earth looks flat. There you go, job done. Hey.
Yeah, and that is literally his entire argument. And somehow that's not a religious belief. But peer-reviewed science, that's religious.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
That's right. Oops. Yeah, I had probably 18 peer-reviewed papers, actual PDFs, not like some Wikipedia thing that I was going to present. But it became apparent that didn't matter what was in it or what it was saying, he was not going to accept it.
Yeah, it would literally be pointless.
Yes, exactly.
Literally be pointless, no matter what you put there.
Because one of my favorites is a test. It's a summary, actually, of experiments for relativity, and they give a good description, the analytical solution, the citation to the peer-reviewed source of the experiment, and it lays it all out. And from the ones that Einstein originally recommended be done through a lot of the more complicated ones that came down a line. But it's incredibly math heavy. There's a lot of actual calculus in it, and that would just make his little fucking head explode. And it would be lost anyway, because it would just be dismissed, hand-waved dismissal. And
well, he did that with Sliced by Kane. His observation, he just dismissed that.
Yeah, and he tried to say, well, he made assumptions. I'm like, no, there were no assumptions.
Yeah,
a azimuth and elevation angles are an assumption. That's a direct measurement. So it is what it is. And you put it on a flat Earth, and then you put it on a globe and see what happens. It's not. There's no assumptions to be made, and he didn't like that.
Well, he tried to use his script. His script is it's an assumption, so that I can
exactly.
And it didn't work.
Well, we
had to move on.
These guys can't figure out the 5 divided by 0 thing, let alone
it's 5, right?
Let alone calculus.
Yeah,
I mean, calculus separates the men from the boys. So it's that's tough. Calculus is not for the
no, it's not.
So God.
Yeah, that paper on the experiments. When I first time I read that, I had to like really back up and go through it again because there's a lot of dense stuff in there that I still don't get.
No, calculus is hard. I had that in college
a
long time ago. It was funny because I think MC Toon or somebody asked these flat earthers, what's the derivative of x squared? And I'm like, 2x.
Yeah,
2x. I remember that.
Yeah, but you have to know what a derivative is and what x is before you can even answer that one.
Yeah, well,
what's x? Oh dear God.
Oh my God. People I know, and they say, you talk about there's stuff, and I go, yeah. They're like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, something better to do with your time.
Yeah, it's the other thing too. I try to tell him that, like, he brought up buoyancy. He's like, okay, I work for a company. We design and build submarines for a living, so buoyancy is part and parcel of what I do. And he was like, well, you're just making assumptions. No, it's not an assumption. A fucking 8,000-ton submarine doesn't float because of assumption. Ask the Spanish.
You can imagine waving the sailors on board the submarine, saying, "Don't worry, it's all assumptions."
Yeah, that's right.
Get on board, guys.
You make the wrong assumption. A lot of people die.
Yeah. Well, I asked the Spanish. I mean, they built a submarine about 10 years ago, and they fucked up big time. And it weighed too much. If they had flooded the dry dock, the boat would have never come up off the blocks. So it was, even with no ballast on board and none of the trim and tanks filled, it would not float.
How did they do that?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. Somebody,
how do you fuck up? It's such,
and it was major too, because it was like 7,500 tons or something like that were off. So my company, Electric Boat, sent some people over there to help them out. So basically, they had to cut the center of the boat out and extend the length so that you had enough displacement so the thing would float. So it's not like something you could just go out and say, lick your thumb and go, sure, that'll work.
Yeah, let's shave off a couple of inches off the outside.
Yeah, it's all right. Yes, we'll draw a hole here.
They must have used a very large reciprocating saw.
Yeah, well, it's you can do it. I mean,
they did like strap on a load of Coke bottles around the outside or something like that. Yeah.
That's how we built the first ballistic missile submarine. Was we took a fast attack that was under construction and cut it in half, separated it out, and put a missile compartment in the middle. That's how that works. Yeah, they do it all the time.
That sounds like a cut and shunt job. That is. That's not good.
Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that, I think. But yes. So it's not something you can just wing and say, yeah, we're going to assume it's good because, Spurs says so.
Mike, if I can jump in here real quick, I would like to predict that as word gets around that we had a pretty fair platform where it wasn't like a 3-on-1 attack and blah blah and that kind of thing, but most importantly, number 2, that you really held a debate with somebody who just kind of brought a lot of emotional things like religion and stuff to the table, whereas and you could have really held him to task, and I probably would have supported you because, I mean, that's only fair, Once again, I don't want to do religion. Yeah, but you were talking about terminal velocity. How did, I really wanted it a few times. I really did. But I can tell you one thing. You got more of these debates coming, buddy, because holy fuck, some of the other players are going to watch that and want a piece of that action. It's coming.
Yeah. That'll be interesting to see if that happens. I don't know.
I hope it does. Oh, God, I hope it does. I know Linda's in the background right now going, okay, I'll make supper that night because shit, I want that too. I know it.
Well, at least you won't have to worry about Santo Bonucci or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, he got arrested, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that seems to be a thing with flat earthers. What is it? Flat Earth Fokker, he got arrested. And,
Oh, God, yeah.
yeah, so, because, he's also a COVIDiot as well as a flat earther. So they seem to go hand in hand. There's one guy.
Some of them tick all the boxes, though.
Oh, yeah.
I
They
think
do.
Fokker is one that ticks all the boxes.
Yeah, I'm starting to see more and more multiple conspiracy theories going on with these guys. It's kind of amazing. I mean, there's one that posts on Facebook all the time. He posted the 9/11 is a conspiracy theory. So, and he posts in the flat Earth forums, and he posts in the COVID forums, and he's anti all of those. So
Wow.
yeah, so where one goes, they all go. It seems just kind of like QAnon.
And you're in all those forums.
Yeah.
Just on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Well, Linda,
Yes.
those forums. So as the Shills were doing their thing and we had a few members come and go, because, that's how it is on a group channel. There's nothing you can do. People decide. We had a couple of people in the background and they were like, you've had Mike on as a guest for Logic and Reason and a couple of shows. You've got to see this guy go at these guys in the text and so on forums. Like, he's all over the place. He's crazy. And I took a bit of a look, and Aimee and I were like, yeah, wow, we got to really see if we can't get this guy to open up on the microphone properly, because so we had you over on the show and you were a little hesitant. We had you over again and you were a little bit more, and we were like, okay, let's see if we can't break this bubble. And holy shit, man. Yeah. Wow.
Especially get a little alcohol. A little alcohol.
Yeah,
lips get a little
I
looser.
approve of that, Linda. Holy, does that really work?
Kind of does. Yeah.
Definitely makes the lips a little looser.
Yeah, I had a few.
But
tonight, so.
There's times when there's been times over the course of the shows over 2 years now, right? Where I find myself trying to drive the conversation and keep things moving because I kind of play a host role, right? And that has been really, really, a lot of it has been taken away from me with the addition of Mike on the channel. Same with DK, because you guys really know how to follow the conversation. And as such, I mean, it's just really helpful. So, thanks, guys.
Well, I was going to ask Linda about how alcohol makes her lips looser, but yeah, it won't do it.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't say that it makes my lips looser.
I got it on record.
But I was just so extremely happy with the way tonight went. There's a couple of notes I left for myself, little improvements I can make, because nobody's perfect and you only want to strive to be better. But I was really, really happy with the tone and the way we set how our debate nights are going to go. This is number 3. It went awesome and it was perfect.
I really like the debates on this channel because I stopped watching any of these debates because they always wind up usually as dumpster fires, or somebody rage quits, or
Gets booted.
It gets booted. And it's so different to have, a proper debate and people go back and forth and have a proper discussion. And, even though it doesn't go.
Like it's the old days.
Yeah.
This is what it used to be like.
Thanks, Linda.
A few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, Dick Dawson is the modern day Dick Cavett.
Wow, man. Thank you. Holy shit, man. Wow.
That actually is a compliment.
Yes. Yeah.
I actually know that reference.
I would go so far as to say he's the new and better version of the non sequitur.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'd go that
I was
far.
going to go down. Yeah.
Yeah, because since non sequitur has gone, all you have are dumpster fires. Even on modern day debates, it's still a fucking
Well,
shit show.
non-sec may be coming back soon. You haven't heard?
No, it won't come back. No, it can't come back.
Not like it was.
It will never come back in any shape or form that you could possibly imagine it would have done. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen.
I personally have some respect on a personal level for Steve, so I don't want to go into that. But when the channel has, hold on. When the channel has sat as long as it has, to bring a new format with some of the same people and some of the different people on, if you look back into TV and radio and so on history, it's not going to be an easy charge, is it, DK? It's not.
Well, the simple fact of the matter is that they could have started doing what they wanted the non sequiturs to be post Kyle Curtis from day one. They could. It wouldn't not necessarily on the non sequitur channel, but they could have been doing what they wanted to do on the non sequitur reboot on another channel. And they didn't, and they haven't.
Yeah,
and they're all sort of like, going, oh yes, we're going to bring it back. No, it's not going to fucking happen.
Well, Steve has said is probably not going to, but I wish it would. I mean, it was on par to be one of the best, most thoughtful web shows ever, and Kyle fucked it up.
I don't think they want to be the next Sex in the City. I mean, Sex in the City are absolutely hideous.
Well, and you don't need the fake drama, but we put a lot of Mike in the background. Like our debate shows were talked about for a long time before the trigger was pulled. This was really thought out. It wasn't just, oh yeah, we want to do one. You know what I mean? It really was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And I think DK is right, though. See, because as soon as the non sequitur fell apart, he should have hopped on it because they were bleeding subs by the thousands per day, and he really should have started up another version, another channel. And he so wanted his channel back, but I get that.
Yes,
but in the end, he really should have just. Watching the subs disappear, he could have started and picked them all back up. And
there is an argument.
The subs are fluid; they would move. They would move.
Yeah,
to whatever thing was right, and then when the non came back, they would fluidly move back to that.
There's an argument to be made there, DK. For sure. There's an argument to be made there because if you look at some of the bigger YouTube channels, I won't even go into names, but when they get to a point where they've hit some serious subscriber numbers, they break off a few other channels to get into more niche audiences, and they know that it's going to work, and it does. It is a proven thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, look at Simon Lister. He's got about 20 YouTube channels.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's a lot.
But, we're over 2 hours on the after show. And, I don't want to push, anything too far, I mean, we like a 2 hour show and we're past it, right? Twice. So, Aimee, if you're there and handy, should we go around the table?
I think we should. Go right around the table and see how everybody's doing. So let's say we were going to start. And Mike Bertelson, what did you think of tonight so far again? What did you think of the after show too?
Yes, actually, I think tonight was good all the way around. The after show was a good discussion. I had fun at both, actually. I like the unformatted, let's talk about this, that kind of thing. So, it was a good night, and I'm glad all the people came over and in the chat with us, and all the guests that came on the show. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. And Miss Linda, what did you think of tonight?
Oh, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Excellent. It was so much fun, wasn't it?
Yes,
and
it was.
And I do love this non-structured thing that we've got going on here. How about you, DKG?
Yeah, well, I mean, the debate was, debate. The after show was a really interesting analysis of what went on. I'm kind of sad that Spurs didn't show up because he's obviously too busy fighting somewhere else. But one question nobody ever asks these people, it's like, what do you want? What do you actually want to happen, and how do you want things to alter in your favor, and could it ever happen? It's interesting because it was like Aimee, I think it was Aimee was saying earlier. For them. Not only for the flat earthers, but a lot of people who argue with flat earthers, they all treat it like a puzzle, like a Sudoku puzzle or a crossword puzzle. Is like, how can I win this argument? And that's why people are quite happy to argue flat earthers by not taking NASA into account and pictures from space that happens every fucking day. but try to argue their points on a more intellectual level. So it becomes a game, and Spurs is top of the league of flat Earth game playing because he doesn't give a fuck about the truth. He doesn't give a fuck about anything about him apart from himself. So there you go. That was my thoughts.
Well, thank you. Those were good ones too, because that is a good question too. What do they want?
At 3:15 in the morning, after a couple of bottles of wine, they are fucking amazing thoughts.
Incredible for 3:15 a.m. I'm never any good at 3 a.m. So how about
I don't know.
you, Big Blue?
I've seen otherwise on toilet walls, but that's another story.
Oh, there you go. So how about you, Big Blue? What did you think of tonight?
We might have lost him completely.
Okay.
I think he had one extra bottle of whiskey, and that was that.
Oh, okay. So we're just going to move right on until he comes back. How about you, Professor Bill? What did you think of tonight?
Okay.
Really?
That's a lot.
Really?
Oh my goodness.
Says it all.
Yeah.
Well,
Amy's making a list and she's checking it twice, people.
That's right. Look out. So we're going to try again. Number 3 is usually a charm. How about you, Joe Whip? What did you think of tonight?
I'm still here. I enjoyed the debate. The after show was great. I've been watching the Shills stuff for a while now, so it's good to be actually to interact with you guys, especially the great Dick Dawson.
Thanks.
But I would say for Spurs, I would think that Spurs wins as well. This is for my English friends out there. Spurs wins as many debates as Spurs wins hardware in the UK, which is like nothing.
There you go. That's right. Thank you so much. And how about you, Mipet? What did you think of tonight?
I would just like to say I apologise profusely, Mike. When I asked him, I just apologise for doing that to you, but it was bloody great fun. Great
I
night.
enjoyed
Really
it.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Excellent. That was awesome. And how about you, Brandon? What did you think of tonight?
Was amazing. I like it. I like it when I do this. This is cool. I want to be on live streams more often.
Excellent. We hope to have you on more often. We've always enjoyed having you on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we've got to have more after shows with you on, don't we?
Yes. Would be great. Would be awesome. Yeah.
And last but not least, Dick, what did you think of tonight?
I'm over the moon. Like literally, I'm about to do the Sinatra. Fly me to the moon. You know, I'm just, the debate went great. The players were awesome. Aimee steps in exactly as she needs to. For some reason, OBS crashed at the end and we didn't get our credit roll in, but all in, that's a little price to pay. We had a great after show. Everybody's been hanging out and having fun. And holy God, if I have any more to drink, I won't even make sense when I speak. So thank you to the fellow babies for watching. And I got to shut the fuck up.
Thanks for the invite, by the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on. And we love having you every time. And so thank you for that. And I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming both to the debates and to the after show. I want to thank Kilo for, oops.
You have a super chat.
We have a what? A super chat?
Oh, a super chat.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much. From P. Barnes, Australian $10 says, fun after show peeps. Some upside down dollary dues for your trouble. Thank you so much.
Thanks, P. Barnes.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I do want to say thank you to everyone again in the chat for coming. I want to say thank you to Spurs for coming and having such a wonderful civil debate. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Mike, too, for being willing to debate, because that's scary, I'm sure. So thank you. A little bit. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Who's time?